What is happening, guys? My name is Jamie and today we are reviewing Nightwish's Endless Forms Most Beautiful, and I do hope you kind of enjoy this new setup since it is outside. And you know what, why not do an outside review for an album that is dedicated basically about mankind's evolution, and I thought it'd be a great day to film outside. We'll be filming a lot outside, especially during summer, especially when it gets really hot inside. But at the moment, it's nice weather here, so I thought, why not film outside after we've had a pretty cold November. You know what, guys, I'm pretty excited to just give you the album review for Nightwish's Endless Forms Most Beautiful. It was a very interesting album indeed. There's some positives and of course there are some negatives as well. You guys voted for Endless Forms Most Beautiful to be on the channel, to be a review. Look, I did react to the whole album, but the third episode was blocked by copyright, so therefore I said, you know what, I'll just do a straight out review. Like I said, there are positive and negatives of this album, so let's talk about the production. The production overall, in my opinion, is not the greatest production. It's on the borderline of mediocre. If the production was a lot better on this album, the album would be more enjoyable to listen to. Don't get me wrong, it is an enjoyable album, but the production is one of the weakest points. The mixing, strong orchestral feels throughout this album. I just feel like that the horns and other orchestral elements and other orchestral instruments are a lot more prominent than the actual guitars, bass, and even drums. And let's talk about Floor Jansen's vocals. Floor Jansen's vocals are at times magnificent, but at times her vocals sound very thin, especially through songs like Weak Fantasy, Alpenglow as well, and there's a few other songs that she sounds really weak. Even Shut Up Before the Beautiful, her vocals are very thin. I don't know what Thomas was trying to do here. Was Thomas trying to make Floor sound like Annette? But I feel that they've really tweaked around with her vocals. You got amazing songs that showcase her vocals, like Elan and Yours Is an Empty Hope, which incorporates those growls within that song. And Endless Forms Most Beautiful, look, I like the song, I really do, but I just feel her vocals aren't as strong as you see in the live performances. Her vocals are much more commanding and much more powerful when she performs this live. I just feel the production, I just feel that the mixing and the overall elements of atmosphere within her vocals need more body to enhance the listener's experience of listening to Endless Forms Most Beautiful, the full album. Overall, this album is a concept album, and when I say it's a concept album, it's all talking about evolution, evolutionary change, about the earth. The album starts off strong with a song called Shut Up Before the Beautiful. I just love the riveting guitar by Ampu as well. This is one of the best songs off the album. Again, there's the strong orchestral feel. I think this is probably the most orchestral Nightwish album. I think it's more orchestral and more symphonic than Imaginarium, which is hands down a 10 out of 10 album, an absolute masterpiece in my opinion. Shut Up Before You're Beautiful is an interesting one. Love the drum fills by Kai and the awesome dual solo you're getting from Thomas. Also Ampu. Ampu really shines in this song. Want more of that grinness of that guitar. Want more emotion from Ampu. And I'm pretty sure the overall production didn't convey that emotion, but you get some really nice guitar riffs, really awesome solo, and not to mention that chorus is fantastic. Floor Jansen at times sounds fantastic, her falsetto is magnificent, dynamic and raw at times. You can really appreciate the clever writing by Thomas. Leads on to Weak Fantasy. This by far is the weakest song off the album in the studio version, but when you watch it live, it is fantastic. Floor Jansen's vocals sound very thin in this, and the production sounds very thin. It's not as organic as Shut Up Before the Beautiful. I just feel like that this song is at times basically forced. It's got a nice chorus, a really nice chorus. If Floor had more body in her vocals, this would have been a fantastic song on the album. Look, it is a very enjoyable song. As soon as you listen to the live version, you can easily listen to the studio version as well. I just feel the live version is so much better than the studio version. It is. You can really hear the instrumentals throughout the live version. In this version, the studio version, it seems everything's sort of drowned out by those symphonic elements. But don't get me wrong, Weak Fantasy is a very enjoyable song, and then critiquing the studio version, the live version hands down beats the studio version. That's a hard thing for itself, to actually have a live version better than the studio version. But some bands do it, and Nightwish do it perfectly. Then it leads to Elan. Elan, hands down, is one of the best songs off the fucking album. It is brilliant. I love Elan. Elan is magnificent. Talking about life itself, celebration of life. I really, really enjoy this song. Come, taste the wine. I love that song. So damn good. And Floor Janssen's vocals are astounding in this. The production overall is brilliant. The music video I love as well. Oh, I love this song. I really do. This song may sound generic, but it's one of the best Nightwish songs in my opinion. I absolutely love this song. The production overall is fantastic, and Troy really shines on this song as well. The backup vocals, and also Marco. Marco really shines. Want to hear more Marco on this album? Then leans on to Yours Is an Empty Hope. It's one of probably the most heaviest songs off the album. I really do enjoy this song. Again, the mixing and production is pretty good on this song. You really hear Floor's growls throughout that chorus, along with Marco's nice quivering vocals, especially harmonizing with Floor throughout this song. I really do love the overall grittiness of Ampu's guitar, along with the nice drum fills by Kai. Homos really shines on this song. Again, there's a strong orchestral feel, but it's not as strong as Weak Fantasy or Shudder Before the Beautiful. This is why it's one of the most enjoyable songs off the album. It leads on to Our Decades Is the Sun. Look, this first half of the album is pretty strong, and Our Decades in the Sun is probably one of the most emotional Nightwish songs I have heard. I absolutely love this song. Floor's vocals are just fantastic. They are so in-depth, raw at times, and she's got amazing falsetto. I just love how she can reach those high notes throughout this song. It's such a beautiful ballad. You just lead on to the second half of the album. My Walden comes along, and I swear with My Walden, this could ideally fit in Imaginarium. I love Imaginarium. I think it's one of the best Nightwish albums. Like, I've listened to a few Nightwish albums now. I only got a few left to go, since I'm not doing reactions anymore, so I'll be basically giving you Nightwish reviews. But I can tell you this, that yeah, Imaginarium is one of the best albums I've heard. Oceanborn is still my #1 album. My Walden sounds very similar to a song like I Want My Tears Back. Very similar. Again, I love the flute elements, I love the Celtic feel throughout this song. There is some awesome guitar moments, really awesome riffs by Ampu. And again, Tomo shines in this song as well, incorporating those really nice keyboard, creating this atmosphere that you really love. Again, Kai shines in this, and Marco's bass is quite prominent throughout this song. But one of the most prominent bass songs. You want to hear more Marco's bass throughout this album. And overall, My Walden has a good production. It's got a good production value to it. Leads onto Endless Forms Most Beautiful. A very catchy fucking chorus. One of the catchiest choruses off the album. I really enjoy this song, I really do, especially when you watch this live as well. On the other hand, the studio version, I just feel it just lacks the production, the mixing overall just lacks. Again, there's a strong symphonic feel, and Floor's vocals at times sound quite weak and thin. I don't know what they were trying to do with this song, but I wish they wouldn't have messed around with her vocals. Endless Forms Most Beautiful is a fantastic song. I really love that chorus, really do. And you get a nice guitar solo by Ampu as well that really is much needed. It leads on to Edamaru, which is definitely one of my favorite songs off the album. I love it, really do love it. I just feel this is all about mankind and life and how we are growing. Again, this is a concept album, and it's a brilliant way. I really enjoy this song overall. One of the most melodic songs. I love the chorus. We are the Edamaru. Amazing song this is. Really do. I love the guitar riff by Ampu. May sound basic, may sound generic at times, but it states its case. Leads on to Alpenglow. Yeah, Alpenglow is very good. I really enjoy Alpenglow. and the overall lyrics are really interesting as well. Alpenglow is just an amazing song. Really do enjoy the instrumental elements. Thomas is fantastic in this, and you get these nice drum fills, tight little accents by Kai as well. Really love the transition, the time signatures throughout this song. And Floor sounds a lot better throughout this song. A very enjoyable song, I must say. And the Alpenglow is a really interesting concept. I just want to talk to you about Alpenglow, and I just feel like this may be the signal of life. Whenever you hear Alpenglow, you just imagine there is life coming on the horizon. Alpenglow is a weather phenomenon where there is no direct sunlight on an object, so the sun is below the horizon. And even in Australia, we get alpenglow, especially in my area, especially in a lot of areas, especially when it's really cold, when it's about 0 or -1 degrees, where you get when you get light shining on a mountain or something like that, but the sun is not even on the horizon yet. This is when the lights bounce off ice crystal particles and everything to just create that amazing glow across the mountains, and even amazing glow across houses sometimes. You certainly get that, especially when it's cold, especially when it's misty, when the light manages to travel before the sun. So I really enjoy this song. I love the concept of the song. And then it leads on to Eyes of Shabbat Gula. Look, it's an interesting song. I gotta say, it's probably one of the weakest songs off the album. Don't really enjoy this song. It's an instrumental. There's some nice symphonic elements. There's nice chanting as well. I understand what they were doing. It's one of the most iconic cover on a magazine about an Afghan girl. So I really understand what they were doing, but I don't really like this song. I don't really like the instrumental, and it's one of the letdowns. It's what has been such a pretty strong album. Shabbat Gula is one of the letdowns, in my opinion. It leads on to The Greatest Show on Earth, which again has like a 3-4 minute intro. So I don't know what they were doing here. I actually don't know. But the Eyes of Shabbat Gula, I don't think shouldn't have been on this album. I know it's creating that atmosphere, that build up. All these songs are building up to The Greatest Show on Earth. And The Eyes of Shabbat Gula, in my opinion, is just a little bit of a letdown. Enter Luca. Then it goes to The Greatest Show on Earth. By far the best song off the album. It's about 24 minutes long. The only negative I can say about this song, look, I've reacted to Greatest Show on Earth. I've reviewed The Greatest Show on Earth. I've even talked about The Greatest Show on Earth's lyrics. Like, The Greatest Show on Earth is indeed, in my opinion, the best Nightwish song they have ever made. I love this song. One of the negatives of this song is the last 4 minutes after Richard Dawkins talks about the life and how we are so lucky to be alive, and we are so lucky to die. There's this weird ambient noises, and everything like that to end the album. I'm not a really big fan of that. I usually skip that part. Like, I don't want to hear wind noises in the background. Although sometimes when you're in a mood, you want to hear all of the album. I just feel the last 3 to 4 minutes off this album is not the best. Like, I understand the concept, and I really love how all about life, it's all about Earth. Like, The Greatest Show on Earth goes from the Big Bang all the way through to mankind's evolution and our demise as well. I just love how they create visions throughout this song and how maybe we can change. What is very interesting, Alpenglow also references We Were Here, a concept to The Greatest Show on Earth. So I've got to say, the lyrics overall on this album is fantastic. The letdown is the production, and the production is one of the main keys off an album. And this overall is going to downgrade my score for Nightwish's Endless Forms Most Beautiful. So this album is an enjoyable album. It's highly listenable. I highly recommend it as well if you're a Nightwish fan or you want to get into Nightwish. At times it's symphonic, it's talented, and at times it's tender and textured, and you can really enjoy this album for what it is. I'd say listen to the live versions first before you listen to the studio version, so you can get the gist of things. At times, this album is intoxicating, especially Edema Room, My Warden, amazing songs, Shut Up Before the Beautiful, weak fantasy, okay songs in my opinion, weak production, thin vocal performance, but at times this album is quite progressive, especially The Greatest Show on Earth. This album at times is top notch, at times it's one of the weakest points. It's cohesive and quite complex, yet dynamic and invigorating to listen to. Take away the side of production. I feel that this album is still probably the weakest Nightwish albums, even though it's got The Greatest Show on Earth on it. It's enjoyable, it's an enjoyable album, but it's one of the weakest Nightwish albums. And yeah, that's my opinion. Just because Floor Jansen is in this album doesn't mean it's the greatest Nightwish album. Probably gonna give this a solid 7 out of 10. So yeah, this album deserves a 7, no more, no less. Guys, comment below what you thought about this review. Also, if you drop a dislike, tell me why you dropped it. Also, tell me why you liked the video. And also, give me your opinion on what you thought about this album. Do you agree with the overall mixing? Do you agree with Floor Jansen's vocals? Comment your score as well. So keep the discussion going in the comment section below. Subscribe if you want, like or dislike the video, because I probably will get a few comments. But come on guys, let's fuel this comments. Let's fuel the comments up. Don't be afraid to share your opinion as well like I am. Subscribe if you want, and I will see you in the next one.